Yeah.
Welcome back in, everybody. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. So glad you guys are with us. Golf Talk Radio brought to you by Mighty Green Organic Carpet Cleaners. Give Mark and the crew a call today at 805-400-7267. Tell them Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy sent you. Again, Mighty Green CarpetCleaners.com. All right, we were talking in the break about some different things that tour players were pulled on, and I think, Dave, you got something you just threw out there, right?
Oh, yeah. It's something very different, but as instructors, this would be interesting. It says, top 20 ways to know if you are currently a victim of style-based teaching.
You know, what's sad is that there's 20 ways. That's, to me, is...
Well, if your instructor says you will be stack and tilt.
You know, I know, there's just so many ways.
There is a correct backswing.
There is one.
It says so right there.
That's what it says. That's interesting. Well, so what are some of those? Breeze through some of the ways that you know if you're being a style-based.
Your instructor suggests the best top of the backswing position is exactly, and they go on to explain it.
Clubs pointing at the target line.
Here's some short ones. Yeah, that's one of them. Your instructor suggests you keep your head down.
Oh, God.
Left arm straight.
Oh, my.
Keep your eye on the ball.
Those are the biggest misconceptions.
Keep your golf instructor, finish high. Or he says your swing is too fast.
So lack of style-based instruction is what they should call that if they're getting those instructions, right?
They want to make you pretty, not good.
Because, you know.
You got to take you got to swing square to square. You have to swing natural golf. You have to swing gravity golf. You have to swing one plane. You have to swing two plane.
Yeah, it is funny because these guys that teach like the one planers or gravity have a team of people that go to training to teach that method, right?
That,
and it's interesting that because everybody's so different, we all know, and there's nobody's the same.
Yeah.
So great, all the great instructors, well, not all, many of the top instructors they use a blending of different styles,
Certainly.
and they work from the student or they get out of the student, not from the teacher to the student. They go from student from the teacher. But it's just weird that there's. Would you sign on to one of those things? I'm going to be that. I mean, would you?
No.
If you came up to you and you're going to be doing the stack and tilt, Mike, you're going to be a stack and tilt pro. Would you go? Would you sign on? I'm going to pay you $150,000 a year.
Oh well, let's talk about it.
All right, how about $100,000 a year? But they're going to pay to be, and that's you got to teach that. People come into that school just to learn that method.
Aren't you?
I have a hard time
You're going to hurt a lot of people.
Aren't you,
Yeah,
as an instructor, limiting the tools you can use to help them become better?
Yeah,
That's
the
point.
that's the whole point of this article. It
But
says, they've picked out 20 different types of instructors, and they're harming a lot of their students. They're probably helping some students.
I would never do that.
And the gentleman we had on, which had a great idea, was the leverage guy. You know, you keep still.
Right.
Use your friction, use resistance and leverage. That's a way, right?
Right.
And so, it's funny because the first tee method, they say to every trainer and coach, the first tee is a way. It's not the way.
Right.
And those people, that's just a way. It's not the way.
Yeah.
But some say this is the way. And then it's almost a cult.
Well,
You
I tell students
So
all
how do
the
you
time,
do that? How can
talking about, just even turning back. I remember Greg Norman turned back with his right shoulder. And Jerry Hurd turned back with a freckle on his left bicep. And some people turn with their left shoulder, and some people say turn your back to the target.
Yeah, you're right.
and all doing this similar stuff.
And it's funny. One of the ones that makes most of sense to me, and Clampett came out with it, is impact position. What's happening at impact? Because that really is the important thing.
And that's the last one on this. It says your golf instructor never discusses how swing changes are going to affect impact.
Yeah, and impact.
And that's the whole gig.
It's the whole gig.
Right.
The
really
moment
is.
of contact is
Right.
everything.
Right.
Is it centered?
Far.
Is
Yeah.
what's the speed it's traveling? Is it centered? Is it going in the right direction? And there's so many ways. All those ways can get that club
Yeah.
there. But if you give the freedom to the student, doesn't matter how you get it there. Let's work on a bunch of methods here that's going to get it to that result.
One's gonna-
That should start from impact backwards. I'm learning. I've been teaching forever, and I'm starting to understand that too.
Let's-
So-
Well, and is it repeatable? You know,
Yeah,
is it-
what
is
can you
it-
do?
is it-
Yeah.
And
I mean,
what can you do? Because you get lucky once in a while.
they,
Hit the
they
face,
might
right?
they might hit like 3 or 4 shots in a row, great with a certain setup or a certain thought, and then it doesn't stick because they can't.
It's not
they
a
can't-
habit.
It's
they
yet.
not
can't-
them.
It's not
No,
them.
it's not exactly,
Right,
Dave.
It's not
It's
them.
not them.
It's
And they're
not
trying to
them.
be somebody that's not
And
them.
how many people come to you guys and even when I meet someone the first time I do an interview, and a lot of the times they don't even like spill the beans. It's during the lesson they spill the beans of, well, yeah, I saw this thing on Golf Channel, and oh, my friend's taking lessons
No.
from this guy, and he's doing this, and so he told me to do that, and then you figure out about 10 minutes in the lesson, you're like, oh, that's why their perception is why they're trying to move this way, why they're trying to. And it's not that it's wrong, it's not right, but it's not right for them. Like they
Exactly.
physically can't move that way, whether it's flexibility, whatever it is, whether it's the way they set
Oh,
up to
so-
Well,
the
it's
so right.
And it's interesting because we talked basically similar last week. We talked about this commentators are saying things like this Brandel and stuff to get audience and just
Yeah.
get, could be
hook 'em in.
and it could be it's a hook, and a lot of people don't agree, and that works as well as people that do agree, right? There's just it's a conversation,
Yeah.
it's controversial, and it's sad that that's what it's coming to. But on the golf channels and stuff, these are all they have a bunch of instructors trying to tell people this is the way.
Mhm.
Right? They're there. This is you got to want to try to chip better. We're going to get on the center of the hit. We're going to get
Right.
Let's do this.
I use a joke all the time. Where
Spine!
I tell people, I say, and one guy said, that was the greatest tip I ever had. And I said, what's that? He said, when you told me the object of this game is to hit it on that flat part in the front of the club.
That's it. So you've been
That's awesome.
He said, I really envisioned that, and I started getting better impact. I went,
That
I
is
said it.
awesome.
It's a joke,
so
but
you've been an
it's
impact
really
instructor, and that's I'm telling you, it's like a ping pong paddle. What position that paddle is when
Oh.
it strikes the ball
Yep.
is where the ball's going to be going, right? And
Right,
if you're
right.
if you can get your ping pong paddle at the bottom of that
That's
stick
exactly right.
in the right position, and how you get it there, it's how you get
That's
it there.
what
I tell
matters.
people all the time, ball went over to the right. Show me what the club looked like at
Yeah.
impact, and they look at me like I'm from Mars. How would I know? Well, if it's aiming there, it might go
Right.
Yeah.
there. Yeah, it's
So let's say I'm curious when you have someone like that, Dave, that's making it go. Let's say they're going right, and you have that same conversation with them, and they can't. It's not connecting.
I have a fix.
Where do you go from
I
there?
teach them to snap hook it.
Okay,
I've seen you do
that's
that.
cool.
And I've done that before.
So
too.
you're like now you can go right. We know that works. You've been doing it all day. Can you hit it left on purpose? I mean, make it hook and go left on purpose. And now there's an awareness. This feels this, that feels that.
Right.
And so then you can get to what you can call it mid swing. They take it back, say left. They hit it left, mid swing. It starts up
Yeah.
right. And so now there's awareness at the bottom. But they're trying to hit it straight and it's going right. So there's no awareness there. They're attempting. So they
have
need
no clue.
once they figure it can go this way. That's moving the ping pong paddle. So it's just an awareness.
Yeah.
very gently toss a ball at them and say, slap it to the left, slap it to
Yeah,
the right.
same thing.
Which way was your hand aiming? Well, the clubs, gravity and physics, they kind of work the same with golf as they do with slapping a golf ball around.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's difficult sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I was having flashbacks as you were saying that to a couple different people that I've met over the last couple months.
Well, I think
They're so tied up in a ball.
Well, you're
Yeah.
That, and you kind of know it as an instructor when whether it was whether it's a student you have
paralysis.
or it's a new person, you can tell.
Right.
Like when it starts getting they start getting balled up, and
Oh,
then, and
yeah.
it's like, okay, how are you going to communicate to them to kind of like, okay, release, just
Well, see,
let it.
that separates you
Yeah.
because I know every time I call you're teaching. So I know how much you teach. Every time I call you're teaching, and you must be getting so rich.
Don't call 10 to 2.
I'm teaching the cart kids how to detail carts correctly.
And, I'm meaning this.
And have they caught that concept yet?
Sort of.
Here's how I believe.
This is a garbage can. At the end of the day, if it's full, it goes over at the bin.
How do I make it go left over to the bin?
But Mike, what if I toss the garbage to the left of the bin?
That's
Pick
good.
it up.
There you go. All right, I was going to compliment you, man. But
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
anymore.
I know I stepped all over you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My apologies.
That's right. Just don't hit me with a 9-iron.
I would
keeping my
never.
tail. No, but
Those days are over.
signs of good instructor, especially somebody who's been in the same place for a while, is somebody that knows how to communicate. Because you get a new job at a club, you're going to get all the members that are going to come in. You're going to get your first go at it. But if it's not working, they're not coming back. So
Right.
and word of mouth is big time, and it's not working. Like haircut.
Oh, sure it is.
If you get a bad haircut, you're not going back to this haircut.
That guy's dead.
So good
I
as
did once in a while when I was getting $5 haircuts because that's all I could afford.
Yeah.
So I'd have the person cut my hair, they'd jack it up, and then I'd come home and they'd like kind of do the foundation for me.
But you went back.
And no, then I
See?
well, yeah, I went back, but I'd go home and do the trimming on my
Oh,
own.
you fixed it.
My
So
wife cuts
which is
my hair.
basically how you fix your golf swing.
Lois cuts my hair.
Exactly.
Golf pros jack it up, you go fix it yourself. But I'm saying, well, you guys that are busy, people are busy instructors. If you don't have a big name that you're riding as, you're a jockey for a horse, that you're riding a horse, all those guys are always busy and charge more. And it's because of the horse, not because of the instructor most of the time.
Very true.
But the instructors that have a big clientele that are same place for a long time, coming back, those are great communicators. And you said, how am I going to communicate this to that guy? That means you're
Right.
thinking about how this guy learns.
They're teachers.
So
Totally.
they are truly communicators, and I think I can't teach anything. I can guide to discovery. So I'm a guide more than a teacher because
Yeah.
you're going to do this. I'm like, so let's guide you. Let's try different things until you discover. Learning only comes from discovery. You don't learn anything unless you do it first. You
Right.
can understand it in concepts, but if I'm
They'll
talking
learn
physical,
by doing.
you have to do it first.
Kind of like me operating the board here.
So just like that. You were left hand the first few weeks was awesome. I watched you go through it there, man. You were a little loose on the setup but you're starting to tighten it up. Now you're drawing it with a perfect little powder draw down the middle.
I came in today and Kyle was here as the studio guy for us, and I pushed a bunch of buttons and I said, "How's that look?" You're like, "That's great." And the thing was,
You're in there.
The thing was, I just did it. Like if I had stopped for a second and thought about like this button needs, I would have been doomed. Just like golf.
Take
Like
it
if I get
back
over a
the
golf shot,
first 6 inches.
yeah.
And Dave mentioned too that when he puts the ball up and he says, "What do you think the face looked like when it went right?" He's empowering them to answer that question instead of saying the face was open when you hit the ball.
Yeah.
So that's what's the problem is your face is open. It doesn't mean anything until then.
Do they go like
Duh.
this?
Really? I mean, but if they understand, so you tell me, why do you think that ball went that way? What are the
Oh, that's
reasons?
funny.
But not the cause of it, but what's the reason of the ball went that way? Then they can start, well, what are you going to do to fix that if this is what's happening?
Right.
So you empower that person to own it versus telling them this is what you got to do. You got to get the club parallel at the top. Come on!
Parallel to what?
Let's cross lines. Come on! Weight transfer.
X factor.
I can't.
Spine angle.
I can't even get the parallel anymore. I can't do
I know
it.
you got that cute little
I have-
backswing.
I have
It's
been
kind
a
of like a
parallel.
little lizard tail, a little swing you got going on.
But see, that's one of those things I'm trying to change that.
We
I
had
wanna-
an instructor in the area, and I'm not going to mention names. This was years ago, before you even came.
That'll be a lot of years ago. I've been here 22 years.
Yeah, this was probably 30 years ago.
25.
But I'd talk to his students every once in a while, and it was a given. You knew what he was going to teach in the lesson if you opened this month's Golf Magazine.
So he took the lesson out of the
He
magazine.
took it out on the
Oh,
page, said, that
and hoping
sounds
the other
good.
Oh, my
people.
This
God.
ought to work.
Wow.
And I talked to probably 8 or 10 of his students, and they said what they heard, and I'm opening up. Oh, that's why it was page 63.
Oh my God.
Even using the same terminology.
He wore the same outfit as the guy in the.
Now that would be good.
That would be funny.
That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
I've never heard of anything like that before.
And it was at a course
Well-
that both of you did work out at one time. And I'm not going any deeper
That's
than
right.
that.
I remember though when
Was
I
his
first.
name the same as mine?
I ain't saying nothing.
Come on.
Well, no, there was another gentleman there that was the same name as mine.
Oh, not
I
the
was
not.
just- I'll tell you later.
I had a flashback. Well, talk of the break. I just had a flashback when you said
We
that.
can't.
But that was classic.
Well, I remember that when I first started studying. I mean, I thought I had a gift of communication, which I think I still do. But when I went to the PGA and I started reading the teaching manuals and looking at all the principles and laws
yeah.
and preferences,
Clever,
then I got
yeah.
all overwhelmed with all this stuff. You start coming out and teaching, you're barfing everything you've learned
brutal.
all over your students.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So you're going,
Yeah.
and I'm like, my first year, like, what? This isn't right. This is too much stuff
That's
here.
brutal.
And so you can tell teachers that are fresh coming right out of the teaching manuals because that's, this guy, at least he's using an article from somebody that's, but the teaching manual, we're talking laws and principles and preferences and on. Oh my God, it's just
That book was scary. The
crazy.
first time I opened that book, I was like, "Whoa!"
So
and I was still in
and
college.
it kind of gave you a foundation.
Yeah.
Kind of, it gives you
Well,
the terminology.
There's a lot of good
There's
stuff
a lot
in there
of- yeah.
if you use it properly.
If you
Yeah.
use it as a reference and as piecing
As-
your own style.
as something you
Yeah.
can pick from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're going to take our.
I guess Golf Magazine is too.
and take
I
our,
like the cartoon.
our break for the end of the hour here. I want to remind you guys that today during the show, on the last segment, we'll be drawing the winner, or the first winner of the Paso Robles Golf Club golf package with Paso Robles Golf Club. You can call them at 805-238-4722 for tee times and a night stay at the Paso Robles Inn. 1-800-676-1713.
Do you have a little star on the corner of the sheet we're going to draw? Just curious.
I have the names in here.
No, I'm just kidding because
Ooh,
Dave,
ooh, I wanna win.
Dave's got the U.S. Open thing.
Yeah, there
I
you
think
go.
it's a wonderful thing you're doing, Mike. Well, thank you very much.
I think it's even
Oh, I
better
see
than Billy
what you're
thought.
Really nice of you to have this contest, Mike.
Thank you. We'll be
You're
right
welcome.
back, guys. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy on the Golf Talk Radio Network. Stay with us.